All right, breaking news. These are pictures from just a couple moments ago at Mar-a-Lago. RFK Jr. is there for a gala. Trump, of course, just tapping him to lead the Health and Human Services Department. Our K file revealing Kennedy shared a theory a while ago that man made chemicals in the environment are making children gay or transgender and causing the feminization of boys and masculinization of girls.
The capacity for these chemicals that we are just raining down on our children right now to induce these very profound sexual changes in them is something we need to be thinking about as a society. They're swimming through a soup of toxic chemicals today.
All right, Andrew Kaczynski of K-File uncovered this, and he's out front now. So, Andrew, all these things are going to come up in a confirmation hearing. All of this is going to be discussed, and there's a lot more where that came from.
Yeah, that's right. He has repeatedly suggested that man-made chemicals in the water could be making children gay or transgender. He's also suggested or spread this unfounded theory that chemicals in the water could be responsible for the feminization of boys and making girls more masculine. Now, the experts that we previously spoke to last year when he was running for president strongly pushed back on those claims. Take a listen to just a few more of what Kennedy was saying in those comments.
Okay.
There's atrazine throughout our water supply. Atrazine, by the way, if you in a lab put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will chemically castrate and forcibly feminize every frog in there. What does this do to sexual development in children? Nobody knows, because we know what it does to frogs.
So, you asked experts about these claims, right? What did they tell you?
Yeah, and people probably maybe remember that Alex Jones went viral for making similar comments a few years ago. He said they were putting chemicals in the water that were turning the frogs gay. Now, the experts that we talked to about this, they basically said you're comparing apples to oranges here. We're humans, frogs are amphibians. With humans, our sex is determined at the moment of conceptions. Frogs' sex is determined by a number of environmental factors. So they said this is not actually a surprising thing. We did pose this question to the Kennedy campaign. How do you square what he said with what all of the experts that we spoke to said? And here is what they told us at the time. They said he is merely suggesting that given copious research on the effects on other vertebrates, this possibly deserves further research.
We'll see. I mean, all of this hopefully will be discussed, and he'll have a chance to answer questions about it at confirmation hearings, assuming that those hearings occur. All right, Andrew, thank you very much. And now I want to bring in Mike Allen, the co-founder of Axios, deeply sourced inside the Trump world, breaking so much news on this incoming administration. So, Mike, here we are. RFK Jr. Is Trump's latest cabinet choice. So, and now this is one that, RFK Jr. had said that Trump promised him a cabinet position for the endorsement, and then Trump there was a little vagueness over what really happened. And but here we see that indeed appears to be what happened. So, is all these choices, are they all serious? Is this really what Trump wants to do, or is some of this just a sort of shock and awe?
100%. Well, of course, Aaron, those things aren't mutually exclusive, but
Yeah.
absolutely, based on my reporting at Mar-a-Lago, these are 100% things that President-elect Trump wants to do. He wants the fight. Their attitude is bring it on. I can tell you, Aaron, these picks have come faster and have been more defiant than even some insiders thought.
Yeah.
I'm told it's clear the president knew what he wanted. They thought that he would spend much more time with these lists, considering the options, but he feels like he has a mandate. He feels like there's a lot of people that think he has a mandate. He's learned over the last 4 years what he's up against. And the way they put it to me is you want to be in a foxhole with fighters. You want to be in a foxhole with people you trust. But, Aaron, I can tell you, here on Capitol Hill, where the CNN bureau is, as I talk to people here, real concern about these picks. So you mentioned the RFK confirmation hearing. The Trump view is that's a great opportunity. There's going to be no bigger stage to air many of what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. believes. That, yes, they're going to ask him about vaccines and fluoride, but he's going to talk about how the healthcare system is broken.
Yeah.
But Aaron, listen to this math. The Senate can only lose 3 Republicans with to pass with an all-Republican vote. That would leave J.D. Vance breaking the tie. But Aaron, Axios has reporting that 4, 5, sometimes even 6 senators may be against some of these picks. Now, with Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, he's going to get only Republicans. They can't lose many. Trump people tell me they're optimistic that RFK might pick up some votes from the family's Democratic side of the aisle.
Huh, which is interesting. And, and I had mentioned earlier, Democratic governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, had come out with a strong endorsement of Kennedy. In fact, even supporting him on vaccines in terms of not mandating or banning them. You do have reporting, though, you've said about people around Trump had real doubts that he'd actually nominate RFK Jr. to run something. Maybe it would have been more informal. What more can you tell us about that? What were Trump's hesitancies?
Yeah, there was some thinking. There were 2 options that I know were live. One was that he stays on the outside, makes money, and has his people in place at the agencies. Another possibility that was contemplated was, do you put him in the White House with some broad mandate? Then, of course, he doesn't face confirmation. And that's why, Aaron, I told you at the top, and our reporting reflects, the president wants the fight, welcomes the fight, and has gotten through these picks. He's more than half of his top picks are out. You saw just tonight his legal defense team going to be at the top of the Justice Department. I'm told that all the pushback over the incredible picks, defiant picks, surprising picks, aggressive picks over the last 48 hours, my conversations with his inner circle, 0 qualms.